praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Okakodah, Shalom to the 144,000. And the rest of the elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, The Gentiles. I spelled that wrong. Or did I? No. The Gentiles that the Apostle Paul went to are Israelites, more proof. So this is a video I watched about half a minute of this. Now this is something that came up maybe 10 years ago. There's two individuals that sounded like Edomites, and they were saying that when the Apostle Paul went to these different people that he spoken to, they were all Israelites. They're not one heathen. So I'm glad that the elder found this, but I heard this more than 10 years ago. There's a term. What's the term? The term is, and they might even mention it because I didn't watch the whole thing. I said, let me just go ahead and do the video on it. What is it? I'll let it roll. I can't even think of it. I knew about heart 2 minutes ago. I knew it. I can't remember it. Hendiatrition, I believe it's called. Hendiatrice or Hendiatrition. Let's see if I said it right or pronounced it the right way. And it means something. So let me go ahead and let it play.
Christianity, we'd have an epistle of Paul to the Ethiopians, an epistle of Paul to the Egyptians, an epistle of Paul to the Hutus and the Tutsis. Right. We don't have that. There's no epistle of Paul to the Arabs. There's no epistle of Paul to the Babylonians.
Exactly.
There's no epistle of Paul to the Edomites.
Yeah, right.
Paul could have very easily perverted Christianity.
Right. And
the Paul bashers are just idiots for not seeing that.
And of course, in other books, Paul definitely says that the Edomites are vessels fit for destruction.
Of destruction,
yeah.
Right.
He does not include them among the Israelites.
And he doesn't include any nation that's non-Israelite.
Right. And
every one of those people Paul wrote an epistle to were dispersed Israelites.
Right, right. And he excludes the descendants of Ishmael, which is your today's Arabs, right?
Absolutely. He excludes them explicitly. Always got.
In the New Testament, Paul says in Romans 11, all Israel will be saved.
All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS.
Okay, this same right here, these two guys are talking. It's a longer video, and they go into, matter of fact, let me go ahead and get this precept. Give me a second. It's either Acts 15 or Acts 9. Let me see. Let me do it this way. Let me put in the word kings. I know it's in the book of Acts. Kings. Let's see how many times the word kings come up. Not king, but kings. Like 340. Okay, we can find it pretty easy. Okay, let's go here. Let's narrow it down to the book of Acts. There we go. I said it was 9. I said it was either 9 or 15. It was actually Acts 9 and 15. So it says, but Yahweh, I got to open this up so you can get the context. Matter of fact, I'll open it up right now. It's the 15th verse is the key verse that we want. And I may go ahead and read it in the Amplified and possibly in the NLT. You know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Let me go ahead and just play it. Play it on the audio. We'll learn the whole chapter.
Chapter 9. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the...
Now remember, the next book, this was the Apostle Paul, thinking that he was doing the will of the Most High, which he wasn't. He had to be turned around. And Cornelius was spoken about in the next 2 chapters of Acts, Acts 10 and Acts 11.
high priest, and desired of him letters to Damascus to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven, and he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul,
we believe there was a UFO, a spaceship.
why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord?
Let's start right there. Who art thou, Lord? When he said, Who art thou, Lord? You would say, Who are you, sir? He didn't say, Who art thou, Jesus? Or who art thou, Yahweh? He said, Who are you, sir? That's what the word meant. And people don't understand that. Let me do this. And he said, Who art thou, Lord? Let's show you. I guarantee you, the word there in the 5th verse is kairis. Let's open it up. This is why, IUIC is stuck, because they don't go into the words. I'm sorry. I passed it. Who art thou, Lord? Right there, you can see it. Let's let you hear it. It's acting up.
Strong's G 2962, Kurios.
Cordias, or Kairis, like Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving with that whole fiasco with the small hats. And watching the movie on Prime, was that Amazon Video, whatever, Prime Video. Anyway, he said that his name, he looked up his name, Kairis, and Kyrie Irving, he said it means God's name. No, it does not. It just means Lord or superior or sir. Sir is short for superior. So he didn't know the name of the Lord. He just called him, who are you talking to? Who are you, Lord? Who are you, sir? So let's look it up. Most Christians don't know this. If you say, what did he say? Who are you? Well, he's calling on Jesus. Kurias or Kairis. He to whom a person or thing belongs, about which he have power of deciding, master, Lord, the possessor and disposer of a thing, the owner, one who has control of the person. You work for a job, your employer is your sir, higher rank than you. You can't fire your boss, but your boss can fire you. Let's come on back. Come on back again.
And suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven, and he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the...
Now, he didn't say I am Jesus. He He said I'm Yahushai. Anya Yahushai. Anya Yahushai is in the Hebrew. I am the Lord. And that word there, when you click on it, even the blue letter knows that word Jesus goes back to the Greek word Jesus, which goes back to the Hebrew word Yahushai in the Strongs, which is the same name for Joshua.
Bricks, and he.
So if you're a Christian and you talking about Joshua, then you're talking about Jesus. Well, you got to either both call him Jesus, or you got to both call him Joshua. Again, these Christians, the only Christians that come up against us are people that went to a theological seminary and studied.
He, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? And the Lord said unto him, Arise, and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man. But they led him by the hand, and brought him into Damascus. And he was 3 days without sight, and neither did eat nor drink. And there was a certain disciple at Damascus, named Ananias, and to him said the Lord.
Now he was blind. That was when people have encounters with UFO, third encounter with the UFO, second encounter, third encounter, close encounter, they go blind for a couple of days. So we believe that he was blind. He saw that light. Did not he say he saw a light from heaven? And it blinded him. So they had to carry him, because he couldn't see, and then his eyes got restored. We can call it UFO blindness, let's say. It's temporary.
In a vision, Ananias, and he said, Behold, I am here, Lord. And the Lord said unto him, Arise, and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus. For behold, he prayeth, and hath seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in, and putting his hand on him, that he might receive his sight. Then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he hath done to thy saints at Jerusalem. And here
he gave out the order to kill people. There were people getting killed. There was a young man named Saul at what's his name? Stephen died. Paul was right there standing there. It tells you that in Acts chapter 7. Paul was working for the Sanhedrin. He was a Pharisee, and he thought that these people, these Nazarenes, these followers of the Messiah, they were following a false Messiah. So he really believed that he was sincere. So guess what? Most High forgave him for the death that was on his hands. Made him a great apostle.
he hath authority from the chief priests to bind all that call on thy name.
I'll give you a good, perfect example. And we all know that we got agents in all the camps, whether they be local law enforcement, whether they be feds. Now you might have a fed that he gets so into this truth that he wants to become an Israelite. And they're looking at it. A good example, Donnie Brasco, the movie. This guy was getting into that. He was getting into that thing. They had to pull him out. So it's the same thing with this truth. You got a guy that might be a local police, NYPD, whatever. He joins the camp to get information, and he sees what goes on, and he starts believing in it. And he said, "Yo, these guys got the truth, man. I can't do this no more." They might quit the force. So when the Apostle Paul, when he did a 180, they wanted to kill him. There was 40 men that had a pact that they wouldn't eat until they killed Paul. Because look at Paul. Paul, we sent him to kill these people and to bring them to Jerusalem to stand trial. And here he is. He became one of them. He became one of them because the Most High opened up his eyes, because he was ultimately one of the elect. A lot of you guys, if you're not one, this is why we say we're the hopeful elect. A lot of you guys are coming to this. A lot of you guys are not elect. You were called, but you were not chosen. So you got to first have an idea that if you're chosen or not, you may be chosen. If you're teaching that the MOTB is something other than the way we teach it, you ain't one of the elect. Point blank, period. You just not one of the elect, because we got it right.
But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles, and kings, and the children of Israel. For I will shew him how great things he must suffer for.
Okay, that's 15 verse, right? Let me take this out the way. Let's just see what let me see what the chat says about this. Let's see what the chat says. Give me a second, y'all. This is the first time I'm going to the chat with this question. Let me I think the word is Hendiatrition, if I'm talking Hendiatrice. Okay, let me see something. Unto to bear my name to Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. Matter of fact, let me do it this way. What does mean? I don't know why it's not coming up. I think I broke the chat. Bear me for a minute. Let me do this. Ask it again. Okay, God speaking to Ananias about Saul, later called Paul, explaining why Saul has been chosen despite persecuting Christians or Israelites that followed the Messiah. For he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles and the kings and the children of Israel. Here's what that phrase means: piece by piece. To bear my name. This means to carry, represent, and proclaim the Yahweh Shai. Matthew 28:19. So when Nate says, "Oh, we don't know the name," nobody knows the name. Either this the black guy either a black guy in Harlem is right or the scripture is right. It says, in other words, to preach and testify about the Messiah. So if you're going to preach and testify about the Messiah, that means you got to know his name. Didn't he say that in Acts chapter 17 to the men of Athens, the Israelite men of Athens? And what he has done, Paul would speak on the Messiah's behalf before the Gentiles. The Gentiles are non-Jews, yes, meaning Israelites. Anybody that's of another tribe of the 12 tribes are not Jews, and therefore they're Israelites. So those Gentiles are Israelites. This is very important because early Christianity began mainly among Jews. The Most High is saying Paul will have a major role in spreading the gospel to non-Jewish nations, meaning Israelites in the Gentile state of mind, which became Paul's main mission. In Kings, Paul would also testify about the Messiah before rulers and authorities. Nope, it doesn't say that. It's talking about Hendiatrition. Let me see if I can, let me see. So they got it wrong. Hendiatrice. Let's see if it comes up. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, let me do this. Okay. Hendiatrice is supposed to be Hendiatrice, which is 3. Often misspelled. Hendiatrice is a figure of speech from Greek meaning 1 through 2. Actually, it's supposed to be 1, 2 through. I can't. Maybe I didn't spell it right. Let me try it this way. Hendiatrition. Let me try it this way. But the word means 3 and 1. The Gentiles, the children of Israel, and the kings are all Israelites. Give me a second, y'all. Hendiatrition. Let's try it this way. Hendiatrition. Okay, I think I got it. From Greek, Hendiatrition, 1 through 3. So that term, give me a second. That term would be, and they ain't giving it to you. Let me do it this way. Let me go to Google. They're telling me what it means to spread the word to the Gentiles, to the kings, and to the children of Israel. You use a Greek word Hendiatrition, which means 3 in 1, or 1 through 3. 1 through 3 is a rhetorical figure of speech similar to Hendiades, which is 1 through 2, but it uses 3 coordinated terms to express one unified idea. So when we go back to the scriptures, I'm glad this came up. When we go back to the scriptures, let me see, where is that? Let me do this here. Are you taking notes, Nate? So you can teach it and you can, because you do that. You wait a month. I'm gonna wait a month and then I'm gonna teach it and I'm gonna show how. You know, Tahar ain't got nothing on me. Nate don't know this. General Yohana don't know this. Captain Zariak don't know this. So this word, this right here, let me read it. Well, I was right there. But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me. He's talking to Ananias. And the reason is to bear my name, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rukakwadash, before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. This is what you call a Hendiatrition. 1 through 3, or 3 in 1. You know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me see. To bear my name. Let me do this. To bear my name. I'm going to try to trick. I'm going to try to trick the chat. I'm trying to trick the chat. Could X what is it, 9 verse 15 and put that in quotations, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. Be an example I spelled that wrong. It's supposed to be a G. Let me do this. Example. No, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What the hell am I doing? Let me do it this way. Example of the term I'm sorry, I don't want that. Of the term. Let me come back over here. Please forgive me. Where did I go? Where did I go? Okay, I don't want this. Give me a second, y'all. Where the hell did it go? Oh, I'm sorry. It's right here. Let me do this here. Hendiatrition. From Greek Hendiatrition 1 through 3. Here we go. Question mark. Now the word was spelled right. They even gave you the word, a Hendiatrition. Let me show you that. Hendiatrition. Hendiatrition me do that again. They spelled it the right way, so why can't they see it now? See how these devils play? Okay, wait a minute. So what question did I ask? What question did I ask? You taking notes, Nate, because I know about a month from now you're going to do a class on it. Okay, let's go to the word Hendiatrition. Then I'm going to say, you stole that from me. No, I didn't. It says, could Acts 9:15, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel, to be an example of them, of the term Hendiatrition. Short answer, yes. Acts 9:15 can reasonably be understood as an example of Hendiatrition, though interpreters debate. What does it mean to debate? They're arguing back and forth about it. I'm telling you what it means. Get this in your mental Rolodex, y'all. You too, Bishop Nate. The bishop, whether it is strictly rhetoric or also literary distributive, the structure strongly supports a Hendiatritional reading. Hendiatritional means, when it says the Gentiles, the kings, and the children of Israel, the Gentiles are Israelites, the kings are Israelites, because we are a nation of kings and priests, and the children of Israel are Israelites. So that word means that verse, he's sent to the Gentiles and to kings and to the children of Israel. Meaning those three categories, let's say, those three terms all represent the Israelites. So now let's come on back to the video. I hope I said that slow enough so Nate can pick it up, because he will be teaching it next month. Maybe not, because he's going to say, yeah, Tahar going to be I'll be listening, bro. You can say it early when we're not in the car listening to you. Y'all got that? As Yahweh would say, y'all all right? Y'all all right? No, they're not all right. I'm here to tell you they're not all right.
Miss, Shalom to the hopefully lick. All right, in this video, I'm going to respond to a short video that I came across.
And the first time I heard this was from these two individuals that sound like the Edomites. Let me play that again. I'm sorry. Let me play it again. Let me play that again.
We have an epistle of Paul to the Ethiopians.
So you got to be a scholar in order. And what is a scholar? Somebody that's well, let's look up the word scholar. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, let me do this. Let me do this here. Let me do this here. Let me do this here. Okay, I don't need this. Oh yeah, the truth is coming out on this. Melania rushes to federal court over Epstein film files claim, because she's part of it. That's all I'm going to say. The walls of truth are closing in on these guys. Okay, let me see. What did I say I was going to do? Scholar. Scholar. Meaning, definition. Let's see what is the definition of the word scholar. A specialist in a particular branch of study. Well, we are a specialist in a particular branch of study in the scriptures. We constantly in the scriptures, right? And we're studying the scriptures. You don't need a certificate to say that you're a scholar. If you study something, you got a guy that's an auto mechanic, right? And he reads books on how to better himself in learning, what do you call it, troubleshooting cars. He's a scholar. He's an auto mechanic scholar, especially the humanities, a distinguished academic, a person archaic, ancient, a person who is highly educated or as an aptitude for study. An aptitude for, you want to study. I got to study. I got to go. So guess what? According to the definition, right? We're scholars. So now let's come on back. Where the hell am I? Let's come on back. So we learned the word today. Get this in your mental Rolodex. Hendiatrition. I couldn't even remember it. I'm like Hendiatrition, Hendiatrition. Let me see. Let me do this again. Because this is the... Give me a second, yo. Okay, let's let it rip.
Ethiopians, an epistle of Paul to the Egyptians, an epistle.
So next time you run into a Christian, vocab roll up on you, you call the cops. He ain't afraid of the cops because they see a white man. He ain't doing nothing. We ain't gonna move him. Anytime if vocab Malone goes to Acts 9 verse 15, and he says Gentiles is as kings. So you ask him, are you familiar with the terminology? Hendiatrition. He probably is not. He might. He's a smart guy. He's a smart boy. But the average Christians don't know. Most scholars don't know. The chat didn't tell you. They didn't know. It said, you got to know how to talk to the chat. This is what I told Apostle Ricard. I said, when you go into the chat, because we were talking about the chat 2 weeks ago, I said, but you got to know how to talk to the chat to get the answers. You can't just ask a straight up question and give you a bullshit answer. You got to know how to corner the chat. See, I'm an expert on cornering the chat. That's a topic right there.
Paul to the Hutus and the Tutsis. Right. We don't have that. There's no epistle of Paul right. to the Arabs. Christianity. We'd have an epistle of Paul to the Ethiopians, an epistle of Paul to the Egyptians, an epistle of Paul to the Hutus and the Tutsis. Right. We don't have that. There's no epistle of Paul right. to the Arabs. There's right. no epistle of Paul to the Babylonians.
Exactly.
There's no epistle of Paul to the Edomites.
Yeah, right.
Paul
right.
could have very easily perverted Christianity.
Right.
The Paul bashers are just idiots for not seeing that.
And of course, in other books, Paul definitely says that the Edomites are vessels fit for destruction.
Of destruction,
yes.
right.
He does not include them among the Israelites.
And he doesn't include any nation that's non-Israelite.
Right.
Every one of those people Paul wrote an epistle to were dispersed Israelites.
Right, right. And he excludes the descendants of Ishmael, which is your today's Arabs, right?
Absolutely. He excludes them explicitly. Always got.
In the New Testament, Paul says in Romans 11, all Israel will be saved.
All praise to you.
Yeah, Romans 11, that's another controversial scripture, not to us. No, that whole chapter, even certain Israelites groups, even certain one Westers, some of them woke up. Romans chapter 11, or that whole Cornelius thing and the Gentiles thing, and Cornelius being an Israelite, not an Edomite, we got kicked out of a synagogue for teaching the truth. And them same people that kicked us out, they teach it today. Showing you that they're a bunch of devils. Nate is nothing but a black devil.
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh.
When Nate tell you he was taught this from a guy named Black, he's black. He looks into the mirror, he's black. Yeah, a guy named Black taught me this. That's Nate. Nate was talking to Black, which is himself. A guy named Black. A guy named Black, that's Nate's alter ego. There was no such thing as no black guy. A guy named Black.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS. Shalom to the hopefully elect. All right, in this video, I'm going to respond to a short video that I came across. In the
all right, this is 18 minutes long. I'm gonna let it rip.
Video, some brother put together. GMS Love to Edify. He had a video, a little clip. Two Edomites explain how Paul is only writing to.
Now I don't know if you know this. I don't know if the elder right here was in the truth or not. But this is old. This has got to be. It's got to be more than 10 years ago when we first. But in that clip, if you can get the whole video. This whole video, they use the term Hendiatrition. That's the first time I heard that word. And it's hard to look up because you go to Google, it's not going to come up. It's going to come up as misspelled. So guess what? When I went to the chat, I had to ask chat a certain way. I had to corner the chat. You know, like you deal with a woman. You want to get something from a woman, you got to know how to talk to her. You know, you got to know how to make her do what she do.
The Israelites who are scattered throughout all nations. And that's the absolute truth. Okay? Now these two Edomites that you hear talking, they talking shit based upon their misunderstanding that they think that they're the people of the Lord. The so-called white man for a long time has pretended to be the real Jews and Israelites, right? So when you hear the dude talk about it, he said there's no epistle of Paul to the Africans, you know, to the Tutsis and all this. And he right about that. You know, most of you Christians, you don't get it. For a long time, you have held, look, it's a doctrine out there called the Celto-Saxon doctrine, right? These Edomites have said that the people over in the Holy Land, they're the tribe of Judah. And white America has thought for a long time that they were the 10 tribes. Talking about the British and the French and all. They had their own 12 tribe sign. Don't let them fool you when they start talking that shit, you know, about, the Most High love everybody, because they never thought that. They never taught it. They're only mad now because the real truth of the Bible is coming out and they can't deal with it, okay? And we know that the so-called white man on the whole is not the 12 tribes of Israel. How do we know that? Because the Israelites are under the curses. So-called white people rule the earth. You can't rule the earth and be under the curses at the same damn time and then holler about, you're under the blessings. Because the blessings of the Israelites don't take place into the kingdom of heaven. So we know that you're not the people of the Lord overall. Now, when you hear these dudes, you know, that goes into the scripture, their tongue shall fall upon their own selves. So you hear these two dudes talking, and, you know, the only reason they're saying that is because, again, they got the world food, and a lot of them believe that they're the 12 tribes of Israel, right? They won't tell you that. You got to dig and search, but they always talked about it among themselves. They've said, you know, that they're the Israelites. They believe that, you know, that Europe is what the 10 tribes would be, and which is a damn lie. Okay? They believe Christianity, you know, the Most High sent for Christianity, but no, you're under strong delusion. Now, getting to the matter at hand, and I may wind up doing another lesson, because I've done lessons in the past on the Celto-Saxon doctrine, which is trash. Okay? The Most High didn't say the Israelites will migrate out of the land. No, he said it will be exiled. Now, migration did happen some, but the overall point is that the Israelites were exiled out of the land. They were sent away in captivity. Let's bring that up. Salakia. Let's grab that real quick. Even the Savior talked about that. Luke 21, verse 24. And we'll get to the main topic momentarily. So this is Luke 21, and we'll start at verse 21. Verse 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land.
Now, you got people that are teachers and say it's talking about now. Luke 21 is talking about 70 AD, and it's talking about now. So you got to know when to, separate the two. Rightly dividing the word of truth. Christians don't understand it. They'll say, that's talking about end times, great tribulation, all that. No, they don't understand. They don't understand the prophecies, period.
land and wrath upon this people. What people? The Israelites. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive.
By who? By the Romans. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. Because they think we be making this shit up. Let's see what the chat says. You know what? Let me do this. Give me a second here. All right, Luke 21. Let me do this right here. Luke Luke 21. Let me go ahead and do this. As a matter of fact, let me do this here. I'll open up another chat. Verify. What did I say? Meaning simply explains immediate historical meaning. The Messiah is warning about the destruction of Jerusalem, which happened in 70 AD when the Roman armies surrounded the city and destroyed the temple. Now, if you said that to a Christian, that ain't what it's talking about. You Hebrew Israelites make it up. I just went to the chat. I can go to Google and ask the same question. So anyway, let's come on back. What the hell is happening? Come on, man. Here we go.
Captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles.
Is it talking about all the Gentiles? It's talking about a specific group of Gentiles, which are the Romans, which are Edomites.
Be fulfilled. So I did a video the other day about those 1,000 pastors being sent to the land of Israel. And I said in the video that they're trying to fortify their position. See, they'll lie and tell you that, like I said, that the Jews, the people over there in the Holy Land, they'll say they're Judah, But then that the 10 tribes is in Europe. That's why you see America, Babylon the Great helping them like they're help those people. Because all together it's a concerted effort, and it's just Esau doing what we said, taking over the Holy Land, right? As it says in Ezekiel 35. Now, on the other end of that, when these people come with these truths and they tell you that Paul's epistles were just to scatter Israelites, the only reason they're saying that now and that they've been teaching it is because they believe that they're those people. That's why. That's why the dude made it a point to keep talking about Africa, because they want you to believe that we from Africa, but we're not. We're the Israelites, okay? And the Israelites were cast out of the land. They didn't just migrate on their own because they got tired of living in Jerusalem or whatever they'll tell you. They went in Europe. No, they were scattered into all nations through slavery, mainly. And you also had a little bit of, you had some migration, right? But through various captivities, the Israelites stayed in those lands where they were. And when you read in the New Testament, it lends to the fact that the Israelites are scattered into all nations. Now, when you go to let's go to James. And those epistles were to Israelites. All those different letters of Paul were to Israelites in those different lands. This is James 1 verse 1. It says, James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. See that? So the Savior taught about us being scattered in all nations. The book of James that was written later talks about the Israelites being in all nations. And that goes back to the curses. Back to Deuteronomy 28:64. And you can't be under the blessings and the curses at the same time and be under the curses and rule the world at the same time. This is how we know for a fact that the so-called white man overall is not the Israelites. Deuteronomy 28:64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. You see that? So that right there tells you without a shadow of a doubt in the curses that the Israelites would be scattered, right? Among all nations. And it's been happening over a period of time, but the Savior also prophesied on it as well in Luke 21. And you see that in the book of James. Now, even when you go to the book of Peter, 1 Peter 1:1, listen to this opening. We'll read it first in the regular version. It says, Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, to the strangers scattered. Okay? Who is the scattered? Throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. When you go into this word scattered, right here, it's the word diaspora. And the scattering wasn't due to their own will. The Israelites didn't just decide to scatter themselves. No, they were vomited out of the land, exiled by the Heavenly Father, okay? Through Roman persecution and other captivities. Here it says a scattering, dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. See that? Down here, dispersion, i.e. especially and concretely the converted Israelite resident in Gentile countries which are scattered abroad. And there's an excellent book that I've read in the past. Not the whole book, but there's an excellent book. This guy, I'm going to show it to you now. Well, this is not the actual book, but it's the title of the book is The Mystery of the Gentiles by Ted R. Wheeland. Okay? And that dude come from that, he wrote in the book, and he tells you he believes that the so-called white people are the 10 tribes, okay? So he revealed it in that book. So you have these Edomites that talk, and they'll tell you they know that the books, those letters of Paul, those epistles were literally written to Israelites that were scattered abroad among the nations. So they know about it, but they try to put themselves there as those scattered Israelites. If they tell you that, if they admit that fact to you, they know the Israelites, that those epistles are to scattered Israelites, they'll only tell you that because they're saying that they're those people, which they're not. All right, and we can prove that upside down. So, don't come at us with this Celto-Saxon doctrine because you ain't gonna make it far. Now, if you look at this in the NLT, I'm sorry, you know what? Let's actually go back. No. If you look at it in all those different versions, the books of Peter, listen to the way it's written in those different books. I'm sorry, in those different translations. Listen to the NLT. This letter is from Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, I am writing to the Most High's chosen people who are living as foreigners in the provinces of Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. And what do you know? Do you have a book of Galatians? Yes. Right? And you also have books written to those other various Israelites. They're scattered throughout the earth pursuant to the curses, and the Savior was prophesying based off of what's in the curses. The NIV. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, to the Most High's elect, exiles scattered throughout the provinces of Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Remember the word scattered, right? What did the word scattered lead you to? Or what does it mean in the Greek? What's the word? The translation in the Greek is the word diaspora. And it's going right to the Israelites. So we see the book of James and the opening of Peter specifically written to Israelites that are scattered. So why would it be that way, but the rest of the New Testament is written to some other people all around the world? Well, the answer is that it's not. All those books, those epistles of Paul and New Testament books are to Israelites, man. As we've been telling y'all. Maybe you'll believe it now. You hear so-called white man say it, but the only reason they're saying it and they're admitting that truth to you is because they're trying to say that they're those people. That's why you heard the man with such confidence and vitriol in his voice. He didn't write an epistle to the Africans, to the Tutsis, to this, to that. That's why he's saying that. See? But hey, so be it. You know?
But he mentioned the Edomites too. He didn't write it. Paul didn't go to the Edomites either.
No, you're right. Apostle Paul didn't write no letter, but he also didn't write no epistle to the Chinese or to the Arabs. He said that. He didn't see no epistle to the Arabs. Right. Now you got Israelites among the Arabs and the Israelites among the Chinese and the Israelites among the Africans. Right. But it's not to those specific nations, which is Moab, Ammon, Ishmael, right, and Ham. The ESV says this: to those who are exiles of the dispersion in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Look at this. To the chosen, the CSB, living as exiles, dispersed abroad in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. See, it's always that. NASB 20, to those who reside as strangers, scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. You see, it is all over the place, man. The LSB, to those who reside as exiles, scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Now, if you go to this AMP, listen to this. They mix you up. Listen. Peter, an apostle, special messenger, personally chosen representative of Yahushua HaMashiach, to those elect, both Jewish and Gentile believers. Bullshit. You see how they just fuck that translation up? No book says that. There's no translation that said that, right? The Gentile believers would have really just been Israelites, those scattered abroad. As all the other versions told you, they put these words in there to throw you off, who live as exiles. No, absolutely fucking not. The RSV, to the exiles of the dispersion. Who are the exiles of the dispersion? Where were they exiled from? The Holy Land. See? Where were they dispersed to? All nations. All nations. And even if you go...
The men of Athens were not so-called white people. See, they're white. They're Athens. That's Greece. You had Israelites living up in Athens that were Hellenized, that didn't accept the fact that they were the Messiah, that they were the Israelites that were following the Greek gods. And they knew that there was a God more powerful than himself in the heavens, but they didn't know the name. And Apostle Paul said, I'm going to give you the name. The God that you know that exists, but you don't know his name, like it says, to the unknown God. Paul said, I'm telling you who that God is. That God is Yahushua. You go to Yahushua to get to Yahweh.
Go to the book of Romans. Like we told you, but these epistles, you got to find out who these books are written to. And these epistles were written to Israelites. The book of Romans, when you keep hollering about there's neither Jew nor Greek and all of that, those Jews and the Greeks are both Israelites. You see? Now, here in Romans 1 verse 1, Paul, a servant of Yahushua HaMashiach, called to be an apostle separated into the gospel of the Most High. Verse 6, verse 7. To all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High. Not to everybody in Rome, right? Not to all the nations that resided there, because Rome had the Roman Empire. They had all different kind of nations from different provinces that they ruled over that probably was dwelling in Rome. But you also had those of the dispersion that were there. That's who this is written to. To all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, called to be saints. Why does it say called to be saints? Because I heard Christians say, when you saying that the Israelites are the saints, why does it say called to be saints? Well, it's very simple. Every Israelite didn't worship the Most High. They was worshiping pagan idols, all kind of different gods, the gods of Egypt, the gods of Rome, Roman and Greek mythology. So they wasn't operating as the saints of the Most High. Even
if you guys knew, if you read the Apocrypha, namely the book of First and Second Maccabees, it tells you that how they made them, abandon their true belief. It became Hellenized, became Greeks.
Even though they were saints, but they wasn't called to be saints because they were secular Israelites. This is Psalm 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who is that? That's the Israelites. Verse 7, hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel, and I will testify against thee. I am the Most High, even thy God. See, the saints are only Israelites. Psalms 148 and 14. That's who the book of Romans was written to. So you got Romans, James, the books of Peter, First Peter and 2nd. Also, if you know, the Galatians, the Corinthians, the Philippians.
Yeah, Peter said he read in a different version. I believe he went to. I wasn't really watching First Peter 1. Yeah, he did go to that. He read in a different version. It's a living hope and a sure salvation for who? For the Israelites. Peter, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, to the strangers. Now you look at the word strangers and you think about all the other nations. No, the strangers are Israelites scattered. The strangers scattered, which are the Israelites, are scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia. This was all north of Palestine, Asia, Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of the Most High, the Father, through sanctification, or to make clean or holy again of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Now it's mentioned the Father, right? God the Father. Then it mentioned Yahushua, two different persons. Grace unto you and peace be multiplied. So who was Peter talking to? The Israelites that were scattered in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia. Don't they mention Pontus in Acts 2? Pamphylia, Greeks and Arabians, meaning Israelites that were living outside of the Palestine. It's not hard, folks. It's not hard at all. You just want to make it hard. Almost finished.
The Thessalonians were all Israelites. This is Psalms 148, verse 13. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for his name alone is excellent. His glory is above the earth and heaven. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. All right, and that's it. So, like we've been telling you, and these people know, Esau play them games with y'all. See, some of the scholars, they know that. Even when they push it, a lot of these preachers, even when they push that shit, the Most High love everybody, they're doing it under the guise. They still, these so-called white people think that they're the 10 tribes, man. That secret been out for a long time. They believe they Israelites. Don't trust them for one damn minute. But we know that Paul's epistles were written to scattered Israelites, but you're not them. Okay? You're just simply not them. Matter of fact, let's hit Isaiah 11 before we go. just for good measure, Isaiah 11 and
Yeah, it mentions all those areas that they were scattered in. They were literally scattered throughout the whole planet Earth. Anyway, you can watch the rest of this. This is 7. You got another minute and change. You can watch the rest of this. So, with that, on to the next Shalom.